Hello and welcome back to another edition of Let's Play Rollercoaster Tycoon 2 Winter Wonderland's edition. When we left off, I built an epic ice tower and this snazzy looking ice skating rink with parking lot and all, and now it's time to build a structure next to it, covering some of the path and that empty space next to the rink. So that means another time lapse. And there it is, a nice little brick hut with a canvas awning thingy extending over the exit and entrance path, while the hut itself has two balconies, one on both sides, log things going around, and lots of icicles hanging from them, and also an icicle arch in the balcony for some reason. And now it's time to build another thrill ride. I'm looking for a good one, and the next one is gonna be the grav force right there, that one, because I thought that it looks kind of like a dreidel, so it would match the holiday theme of the park. It's gonna be called the disorienting dreidel. It's gonna be situated near those horse carriages that you see on the upper right part of the screen right now. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a time-lapse again of everything, the construction, the testing, the hiring of another elf, and building queue lines and whatnot, and scenery over and around the ride, and queue lines. So here we go. And there it is, a candy-themed, disorienting Dreidel with a fat boot on the side to boot. I have absolutely no idea if candy or chocolate has anything to do with Jewish tradition, but at least it looks delicious. I didn't want to cover up the ride so you could see the Dreidel spinning. And then for the queue line I went with some log cabin style and a Asian style bamboo roof, because there's no log cabin style roof available. And I also didn't want to go for the pirate one because I wanted something less steep, so the Asian one came to mind. And that's pretty much it for the Dreidel. Now let's talk about what'll happen next after I play some Uline TVs. I'm going to be hiring more entertainers and going down the list of reindeer names. They're gonna be called Vexen, Comet, and Cupid. And then after those are hired, I'm going to start working on the next roller coaster. It's gonna be the Mine Train coaster because I wanted to create like a Polar Express thing that looks like a train, so the options were either the Mine Train coaster or the Mine Ride coaster. And because I just built that recently in Bumbly Bazaar, I thought I'd go for the Mine Train coaster. I haven't built that in a while. Probably the last one I did was in Big Mountains, the Crazy Train, and that was ages ago. Anyway, the design is gonna be like two stations. One is gonna be pretty close to the park entrance, and then the other one on the other side of the park, and it's gonna go like around the entire park, pretty close to the edges, at least on the side of the park that is closer to the entrance. On the other side it goes more into the middle. And yes, that's about it, so it's time for another time lapse. I'm building back to the station, so that means it's time for the first test run, the first of many actually, because I have a bit of a trouble with this coaster when it comes to speed. Probably because I haven't built it in such a long time, and also one reason might be that I left the left hill speed to 6 kilometers. I didn't notice to make it any higher, although that in the end it turns out to be a good thing, because if I would have raised it to 9, the intensity rating probably would have gone over 10. But anyway, here's the first test run. At this point I was concerned about the first uphill, which is a bit low. Like the left hill is like 24 meters, and then the first uphill is only 16 or something, so it goes pretty fast over it. Then the rest is pretty smooth, except the train is gonna run out of speed right at the first block break. Right about here, going, and gone. So that means another time lapse. At this point I decided to do another test run with some brakes removed to see if that helps, and to also look at the G-force graph, see how many negative G's the train pulls at that first uphill. Or the first big uphill, I should say, because there's some smaller ones in the warm-up section between the lift hill and the station. Now let's see how many G's does the train pull. Almost 2 G's negative. That is too much, so I'm gonna change that. And I also need to change this section because the train isn't making it up that hill. Well, that was certainly some epic organ playing by Peter James Adcock, who either has the most epic or most ridiculous last name ever. But anyway, now I've gotten as far as building a second station, so I'm doing another test run, which doesn't start well because this train right here runs out of speed immediately on the first uphill. But I won't let that bother me, but instead take a look at train number 1, or is it 2? Yeah, it's number 1, going through this first section here, which had to go through some pretty radical additions and changes to get everything sorted out and connected. So there it goes, some twists after the first uphill. And then this section is the way it was before, I think. And this time it'll actually make it up the last hill into the block break section right here, and then it'll actually go through the block breaks for some reason, even though the next block section isn't clear, so I had to stop the train to avert disaster. And that was the last time-lapse for this episode. There was another case of running out of speed at one point, but I didn't bother with stopping the time-lapse for that. It was pretty self-explanatory. Did another redesign here in those big helixes. But this time the train will make it through, and this will be the final design for this half of the coaster. The next half will be done in the next episode. And I do have to apologize a bit for the schedule of this series. I haven't been able to keep it up as much as I wanted, especially now that I have to do like extra work because I'm doing this commentary afterwards. Because like I said in the previous episode, I failed to save the voice recording after playing. But anyway, that is gonna be it for this episode. Join me next time when this goes through will be completed and opened and named and whatnot. So I'll see you there. Bye bye.